Serious question before I get into this, but why do you guys assume I'm just friends with everyone who has a YouTube channel? Like, I've gotten at minimum 30 DMs asking me to talk to my good friend PKRUSSL and pick him up from school and just tell him to shop and shake his... I don't know. And I don't even know this man. I don't know him. Like, for some reason, because I have a platform, suddenly now I'm lumped in as being buddies with everyone ever, despite the fact that I only really talk to like 3 other YouTubers. Like, my actual friends list is super fucking small here. Not even out of choice though. It's strictly because I'm problematic, and for real, no other channel wants to be friends with the girl who's going to put out a video saying she doesn't like Jeffree Star, because that kind of chaotic, I don't care energy about someone who could ruin my career isn't the tea for most normal people who treat YouTube as a business. No one wants that, nobody wants to be attached to that, and that's just that on that. Hey guys, it's Shannon, and today I'm going to be talking about something that a lot of people, like a lot of people, have been requesting that I talk about for a little while now, and that is PKRUSSL. Because apparently, he has done a lot of shit, and everyone is mad at him. Which, you know, is normal for my channel. All of my content is pointing at a bad thing, saying thing bad, and discussing why thing bad with you guys. It's pretty easy peasy lemon squeezy content, and it's not really hard to point at Jessica Yaniv or Nezion and say, you know, they're garbage. It's really not. It's the easiest thing in the world. However, with the PKRUSSL situation, it is a bit different, because instead of being a really cut and dry case of a person doing an illegal action, crossing illegal boundaries or ethical boundaries, and being overall a piece of human feces, it seems like he just did a bunch of things in succession that really pissed people off, and then he did one big thing that frankly is a little bit weird, a little bit suspect, a little bit not into it. And by a little bit not into it, I mean fully, I'm not into it, like at all, even a little bit. Very weird. Don't know why he did that. But now, because so many people don't like him because of the other stuff, and this one big thing that people are criticizing him for, they are full on full out saying it's something else, and it's illegal, and it's all pretty much a clusterfuck. We are going to go over all of it, starting with how he gave a negative review to HAZBIN Hotel, which as we all know, is illegal, how he was copyright struck and seemingly lied about it, even though he didn't lie, and he just wanted the strike off, and people made a huge deal over nothing. How he stated you don't need to give credit on animation memes, which further pissed people off, and then, you know, the entire thing of showing your hairy asshole and balls on Twitter, which I don't know. I'm not like a funny person, but like I don't get that fully, you know? I just don't. I'm not, I don't know. I think my opinion on that is that like if my friend who I was friends with was like, hey Shannon, on an account that I don't associate with porn and associate with my business, and I don't want it to be associated with porn, and I don't want to get into porn, I want to show my asshole and just see what happens. I would tell that person, you know, maybe don't. Like, you're a free person, you can do whatever you want, but if your content is reviewing animation memes for literal children and making videos about topics that will at least get people to assume that you have a very young fan base, consider potentially, maybe possibly not doing that. Consider saying this photo of my ass doesn't need to be online. Or be like me and get an older fan base that is mostly between the ages of 18 and 35. Seriously, there's a reason why Markiplier doesn't show his asshole and take pictures like that, and it's the one I just gave. Otherwise, I'm sure he would be down to do it. Literally for no reason at all. I have no idea. I am being thrown in here as if I have anything to do with this. YouTube is fucking weird, man. I don't know why people want to do this. I don't know why I want to do this. Fuck me. So what we are going to be doing is starting at the beginning, or at least at the beginning of what people who now hate PKRUSSL claim to be the beginning of the end for him, the beginning of his downward spiral, and that is his negative HAZBIN Hotel review. As it stands right now, his review of HAZBIN Hotel stands to be his second most popular video on his channel, getting over 700,000 views. However, since you heard me say literally 10 seconds ago that this is the beginning of the end for him, you wouldn't be surprised to know that this here video has over 100,000 dislikes. PKRUSSL, as a channel, has 209,000 subscribers, and over half of that number saw this video and gave it a little fuck you on it, a little downvote, a little go fuck yourself, PK, which is insane to think about. Sometimes when we're on YouTube and you're a YouTuber or you're just like a human person, it is really easy to like dehumanize the numbers and reactions from people, but the amount of people who disliked this video could fit in multiple arenas. The number of people who disliked this video could populate a very small country. The number of people who dislike this video could believably store Area 51 and find the aliens. And yes, I am still upset that didn't happen the way I wanted it to happen, and I am even more upset that my husband didn't let me go. Let me get an alien saying, Anthony. Anyway, in his video, he talks about everything he didn't like about the show and why he didn't like it, which is all fair and good. He talks about how the cringy edgelord comedy didn't appeal to him and how he found it to be too edgy for the sake of edginess and that he didn't just vibe with it. It wasn't his green beans, if you will, which is a valid opinion to have over comedy, which is subjective, especially for something as niche as HAZBIN Hotel. Literally, the show's premise is super niche. It's a show about demons in hell, some of which have old-timey radio voices and little shticks that they do constantly that like would grate some people if they didn't like it. And also, there is a whole lot of singing. I'm a musical theater lover through and through, and I personally love shows with singing. It's my favorite. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, I dig. Every show that's ever like had a musical episode, I'm into it. But from experience, I know the easiest way to turn people off from watching your show, from liking your content, is to have the show be a musical show with original music. People, like 99% of the time, hear an original song and they go, nope, not into it. I don't want it. That's why Glee was successful. It took popular songs and mashed it into the show. You will never find any of Glee's original songs featured atop any My Favorite Glee Songs list. No, people just wanted Katy Perry. They didn't want My Cup. The show has a lot of things going for it for sure, like an interesting premise, a cute protagonist, representation, interesting character designs. So for me, it shows a lot of promise. However, PKRUSSL isn't wrong not to like the show. That's his opinion. And the fact that he got a lot of shit for saying, hey, this thing, I don't like this thing. I think it's not good because it doesn't appeal to my personal taste. That's normal. He literally just said, I don't like it that much. I think the humor is bad and I'm not a fan. Humor, comedy, and opinions on a show featuring those things is fully subjective. So the fact that he's saying, I don't like this thing, and that is what garnered him so much hate. 100,000 people saying, no, fuck you. Well, I want to say I'm surprised, but I'm really not. As terrible as the anti-Viv people are, Vivzy Pop's fans are crazy powerful and crazy motivated. Now again, like I said, that was only the beginning of the quote-unquote downfall for PK, because after that video went up, two things started to happen. The first thing was the video was claimed by a network representing Viv, and the second thing was people started making videos about why PK is wrong for not liking something in his personal opinion, which is kind of bonkers to me. Hey you, that opinion you have on something that you feel personally, yeah, that's fucking wrong. You have to like it because I personally disagree with your points and I personally thought the thing was fine. Despite the fact that it's built on personal preference, I'm gonna force you to like it. I don't know why some of you guys get upset over someone's personal preference or like not liking of a thing. If he likes a thing and you don't, or you like a thing and he doesn't, it doesn't affect anyone. Like, it just don't listen to him. Don't watch the video. Don't give it a view. Do I like HAZBIN Hotel? Yeah, sure. Am I going to lose my mind when someone says they don't like the show to the point where I make a video about why their personal opinion is wrong? Also no, because that doesn't matter. And you know what does matter? Nothing. Because everything is pointless and we're all going to die and end up in HAZBIN Hotel. Okay, sorry, moving on. Frankly, I didn't get the outrage and the backlash because I just didn't care either way. If someone likes something, that's cool. If they don't, that's also cool. It also helps that I didn't watch him and I wasn't like greatly upset by this other human person's opinion since it didn't affect me at all. But then came the copyright debacle. For some reason, when his review came out, it was claimed by the company that represents Viv. It was also the only review that we currently know of that was claimed, despite the fact that there were more popular reviews that were all positive that came out around the same time. So the only negative review got struck, but all the positive ones were peachy keen. Now, as someone that this has personally happened to, getting the email that your video that's doing well was copyright struck, despite the fact that you did nothing wrong, is more than infuriating. And you tend to react quickly and out of anger and also spite. Like, someone's taking away your money and your hard work. You're gonna be pissed. When it happened to me, it told me the MCN that had struck the video, but it also told me who they were representing. So when it happened, I tweeted at both of them and called them both out for taking it down, saying, hey, take this strike down. Because despite the fact that the company is at fault and the company did it, the company represents the person. So that person can step in if the company doesn't want to do what's right. And if the company, say, doesn't check their Twitter mentions because they're a fucking company. And that's what PK did. He tweeted that the MCN and Viv had struck his video, and he tweeted that they needed to release the claim. And then they did. After Viv said him tagging her, as if she did it, was misrepresenting what happened and making it seem like she did to stop criticism. Now, here's a hot take, and you can get your dislike buttons ready and unsub to me like right now if you're itching to do, if you're raring to go. But that was a punk bitch move on her part. It really is. Because if, for example, something happened to her or her video was copyright strike by both an MCN and a separate YouTube creator, you bet your ass she would have asked them both to release it, because that's a normal fucking thing to do. That's not bullying. That's literally saying, hey, this company that represents you did this, stop, talk to them and make them stop. She wouldn't have gone along with the lengthy process of waiting for the claim to be released. She wouldn't have waited and just been like, I'll just twiddle my thumbs while they take my money. She would have asked them directly on Twitter and demanded her fans to ask as well, because that is literally how most of these disputes are actually handled. That way you don't have to give people your legal name and address and dox you. It's that simple. So her doing that and saying he's misrepresenting the situation, it's like, no, that's shady. That's shady as hell, and I'm not a fan of that. But because people were already so riled up because he said something bad about her show and everything else that had happened, this got treated as if he spit on a baby and kicked it too. And what's ridiculous is the same thing has happened to larger creators like PewDiePie, and everyone there was ready to die for him. It's a popularity game, man, I swear. Now this next part is going to be uber duper brief because I'm not a part of the animation meme community, therefore I don't know anything and I don't partake in their givings, and I literally know nothing about them and they don't know me, and that's so cool. That's cool. Let's keep it that way. But apparently in a video he managed to piss people off by saying that if you make an animation meme based on someone else's animation meme, you don't have to give that person credit that you base it off of, which apparently is a big no-no. Now I get it. If you guys are full on, full out using someone else's artwork as a jumping off point and you're doing the same thing as them, but you're doing it in your own style, you probably should say, hey guys, I'm using the work of this other person as a jumping off point because it inspired me. It's just polite. It's the same thing that makeup artists do. If you're inspired by someone else, if you do the full ass, whole ass look of someone else, you say, hey, this person did it first. It's just polite. PKRUSSL said you don't need to do it. People got mad and people were like, that's false, don't spread false information. And then, yeah. But now we are going to get into what PKRUSSL did on New Year's, which, so I don't get demonetized, we are going to call the ball drop, because he dropped his balls in a photo on Twitter, and it was really not great. First off, I want to make something super clear. Him doing this does not break the law. A lot of people have been saying, this is illegal. No, that's false. It simply does not. People who are saying that it is are either purposely dishonest in order to make him seem worse than he is and to discredit him and just say, oh, he's a criminal, or they simply genuinely do not know what they are talking about, which isn't great because they're purposely or accidentally misrepresenting the truth. And either way, that's not great. You shouldn't want to do that. Him posting a photo of his hole isn't illegal, but it is super incredibly questionable and awkward because he has a very young fan base. He can say he doesn't all he wants. I've seen and gone through his fans. They seem really young. And also, so many people are leaving out the fact that he posted for hours that he was going to do this over and over and over again. He tweeted updates every hour that this was coming, which doesn't make it any better, really. Of course, I want to make it very clear that we don't know his analytics. We don't know how many children actually follow him, how many minors actually follow him, either on Twitter or on YouTube. However, by looking through his most popular videos and their subject matter, my guess is that they're very young, very youthful. The exact demographic who doesn't need to watch that type of ball drop. And therein lies the issue. You have someone who makes content that appeals directly to children, posting a photo of their asshole publicly, purposefully, and that's a little off kilter. It makes people feel immediately weird. That supersedes edgy humor and just kind of ends up in this moral weird gray area where everyone just kind of feels fucking gross. Is there anything technically wrong with it? No. Technically and legally? No. It's a moral gray area and it's really ambiguous because so many of his followers are young. And if you scroll through them, I found at least 5 who are under the age of 13 in like the first couple scrolls. Like, it's not great. However, it isn't the responsibility of the person who posts a public photo of themselves that is less than dressed to make sure that nobody under a certain age sees it. Take, for example, if I have an OnlyFans account and someone takes a photo of me from that account and puts it up on Twitter. If at some point in time a person below the age of 18 sees that public photo of me on that Twitter because it had been shared, that is not my fault or the fault of the person who posted it, because it was not sent directly to a minor but to the world at large. It's why there aren't any successful lawsuits where parents of children sue porn stars because they were able to Google big boobs. It's why porn actors are able to use Twitter to post promos of their videos and shoots, even though they have a public account and anyone could find them. It's why porn sites give you the one-word questionnaire if you are 18 before entering, which is the easiest lie that people tell every time. The main issue here is that he's trying to make edgy sexual content on Twitter with this photo, but he makes different content over on YouTube. And the merging of those two things doesn't fit. And the accessibility of those two things weirds people out. So yes, absolutely what he did was weird, and I'm personally not a fan of it. But does it warrant people saying that he broke the law and should be charged with a sex crime? No, because that's insane. Because if he was charged with a sex crime, literally any porn actor, cam girl, what have you on Twitter would be as well. If anything, I think PKRUSSL needs to have a private thirst account or like an 18 plus account. That way he can post whatever he wants and not have all this foolishness. He needs to have an account that is clearly labeled 18 plus before he does this again, because it's really fucking weird. There are so few people on YouTube who are posting whose assholes I want to see, and I feel like I'm in the same boat with a lot of people on that. Let me know what you guys personally think down below. That is just my summation of what happened. Again, it's a lot. If you are pissed off at me for any of my hot takes here, tell me to die in the comments. I'm excited to read all of them. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you soon. Later.